So we have waited 3 weeks or something like that, right? It's gonna be 3 weeks, and we're finally gonna get a new patch because of MSI, right? And there's barely any changes here, which is very unfortunate. MSI is in full swing, had some awesome games, and we're pretty happy with the meta overall. Riot. Let's not be fake positive. MSI is literally just 3 zeros and 3 zeros and 3 zeros all the time. Hello? Decent representation across each class, assassins and jungle, I feel the blank picks. I mean, sure, but it's like, also, it's fearless, right? Nerfing down some of the strongest picks in bot lane have also led to Mage's bot being more present in the meta. Is that really the reason why? I don't buy this, by the way. Mage's bot have always had extremely high win rates. This is most likely just people are playing Camille support, right? So that's one champion that really pairs well with like Mage supports. And also like Eastern teams are bringing out Pyke. And then you pair them with mages, which are really strong. And people have also just realized mages are good. I don't think this has much to do with the strongest picks in bot lane being nerfed, right? Like, sure, we nerfed Smolder and Senna. Yeah, those were really OP. But what else did we nerf that was so out of line that made mages now be way better? Because it's like, we buffed Tristana, for example, or we buffed, I don't know what, like Ashe is still really good, and yet people are still picking mages. So, yeah. Because, like, the thing is, this statement would make sense if mages were picked late in Fearless, but they're picked early in Fearless, so I don't agree with this whatsoever. We don't find this state particularly problematic right now, but we have had several conversations about the true power level of mages bot, especially when they carry high win rates. That said, there are a few that are overperforming in solo queue, aka Seraphine, such as receiving a nerf, but the overall conversation is a lot more nuanced, which pairings familiarity as opponents. I mean, the mage's bot thing it's gonna like follow the same thing that it followed in the past, which is that it's being played way more and more now because of MSI. Once MSI is over and people stop playing it in pro, then they're gonna mostly stop playing it in solo queue too, but obviously they're gonna stay high win rate. Long term, yeah, RIOT will probably have to do something in order to make mages go away from bot, but it's kind of similar to like how ADCs were being played mid lane like a year or two ago or whatever it was, like 2 years ago. And RIOT obviously didn't do anything at the beginning because RIOT doesn't mind that something new happens, right? For like some time. But obviously, at some point, people are gonna get fed up with it and then they're gonna change it. So I think Mage's bot are probably gonna stay for a couple more patches. It's like my prediction. Locke has had a really resonant start. Players have resonated with his executes, resets, and stack into burst gameplay. He's shown to be a little skill skewed in the same way that a Katarina Auction or other resetty roamy champs might be, but not overly so. Yeah, okay, so slightly skill skewed, but not much. That said, he's still a bit strong when I account for mastery growth and true power level. I think RIOT is probably underplaying it when they say still a bit strong. It's probably way too strong, honestly, when you account for mastery growth and true power level. His level of early game snowballing is a bit too high right now. That said, we think his damage is appropriate if he needs to work a little harder to access it. As a result, we're nerfing his wave clear currently to hit his ability to access it so reliably. We know that one of the things that players find confronting is his damage output right now, but we think it's valuable to retain these types of unique edges in the game. Okay, they're hitting the wave clear, which is probably like an okay way to hit Locke. It's either you hit wave clear or you hit the W, which just grants him stupid amounts of HP back for free, pretty much. But I think, for example, I've struggled laning against LeBlanca's Locke, and one of the things you can do in that matchup is you just one-shot the wave before she kills you in one rotation. She needs usually 2 rotations to kill you. So you just one-shot the wave in your base, right, and you spring back with home guards. Once we nerf the wave clear, that's definitely gonna make his harder matchups be a lot tougher. Systems. Rocket Belt has been one of the premier items for mages, especially in mobile, at the highest level for several months now. We like and embrace this type of innovation, but it's also providing a bit too much versatility and removing a core weakness of this champion's ability to be killed, so forcing a bit stronger of trade-off. The other major system change for this patch is a nerf to the mid boots upgrade for glutinous griefs. It's adding a nice texture for playing mid versus top ribbon, but it's also the strongest performing boot in that lane and lacks clear counterplay. Okay. Again, the innovation here is great, but just a bit too strong. Yeah, they're probably gonna slightly nerf Rocket Belt, not too much, but I think it's probably a good thing. One of the problems with Rocket Belt, I think that happens is that Rocket Belt Active unironically removes a large portion of champion skits. And I'll give an example of that. You buy Rocket Belt into Ahri in pro play, Ahri all of a sudden can't charm anymore. Like, she just can't charm you unless you're CC or unless she's super close range. She can't charm you. So that's like one ability that is so core on Ahri that you just can't hit. You're in pro play and you're playing against Bart, and all of a sudden it's a lot harder for Bart to ult you because, well, you just have a dash. You're playing against Zilan in solo queue, and all of a sudden he can double bump you because you proto belt it. It's really, really, really strong, and obviously this is being abused by pro players mostly, right? I don't think proto belt is really a big problem for average play because average play, they just default to buying Shadow Flame most of the time. Items like Shadow Flame. And honestly, yeah, if proto belt gets nerfed, then the question becomes, right, what is the next in line for pro players to build? Because pro players will always build the Fansu. The Fansu itemization has always been overpowered throughout League of Legends history. And there's not really a good health item in the AP system that's going to replace Proto Belt. I think the closest one is probably Bloodletter's Curse, but I don't think pros are gonna pick up Bloodletter's Curse. I was the one that was building Bloodletters a lot back in the day. Yeah, because like you won't see pros building like Luden Shadowflame. That type of build is weak in pro by default. You want to be tanky. So what are pros gonna buy that will make you tanky? Cosmic Drive is too weak for a majority of champions. That's the problem. Item is too expensive. It's too weak. Bloodletter's Curse is, I think, the closest we have, honestly, after Protobelt, if Protobelt becomes too weak. Or, if you don't buy Protobelt and you can't buy an HP item, well, then they're gonna have to value more Zonya, or they're gonna have to value maybe something like Storm Surge more, or Roa, right? Roa could be the replacement, right? We could go back slowly into champions like Orianna and Victor building Roa. Okay, I'm yapping too much about this shit, but let's go over. So Azir is getting bug fixes. In my opinion, Azir is probably in the top 3 most bug champions that I've ever played with. So for me, this is very nice to see. I hope this is a lot of bugs. For me, Syndra and Azir are the top 3 most buggy champions in League of Legends, and I'm not sure who the third one would be. Maybe Viego or something like that, but whatever. Okay. Brand Jungle is getting a buff. RIOT has, I think, buffed Brand Jungle like 4 times now. Or this is like the 4th time or something. Yeah, they're buffing it a lot. Corki is getting a buff. Okay, that's fair. He kind of fell off pro play. He's not really like... He didn't benefit from crit being buffed that much because he buys 2 non-crit items. And yeah, he kind of fell off a little bit. Mordekaiser. Okay, sure. Nami. Nami lost mandate. One thing that people don't realize about Nami is that she's still really strong pairing with AP champions, and you have to buy Staff of Flowing Water on Nami when you're playing with an AP champ. That item is nuts. But yeah, Nami, okay, cool. Imperial Mandate got nerfed, so she needs like buffs. Yunara is getting a buff as well. Yunara also, in my opinion, kind of fell off, right? Like, for example, when you're watching pro play, Lucian Amelia is just the new Lulu Yunara. Like, Yunara also lost power because Lulu got nerfed. That's also one thing. But yeah, what I would like to see about Yunara is just tankiness. I think she's way too squishy. I would like this champion to get some HP. Like, her HP per level is like abysmally low. Or like just like armor or something like that. Champ nerfs Garen, low elo noob stomper, champ Jace, probably due to like high elo and pro. Locke, deserved, sure. This was expected. Senna is insanely strong on support after RIOT made it so you gain insane amounts of souls on support. But Senna is also still a really strong ADC. And then Seraphine, way too OP in solo queue, especially on ADC role. Seraphine has always had this issue where she is never able to be decent mid lane or support even. By the time she's decent support, she's already turbo OP ADC, but she's also decent support right now. And then, yeah, okay. So we have Nasus. Nasus jungle is gonna get a nerf and top lane is gonna get a buff. This is a really good thing, and I'm happy to see this because jungle Nasus is Nasus's best role. I've called it months ago. And the amount of stacks you get in jungle is way too high. The amount of stacks you get on top lane is way too little. It's never worth playing Nasus top lane unless you're in low elo. So there's that. Blue buff is getting a system buff. I have no idea why, honestly. This one I don't really understand why. What is it about blue that is so weak? You could maybe buff its mana region. Personally, I only run with blue on champions like Hui, who are insanely mana hungry. But generally, if you have blue buff on the mage, you are fine with mana. There's just a few exceptions on that. So you could buff mana part, because that doesn't buff jungle. If you buff the haste part, then that buffs junglers, and that also makes it so every jungler will want to start on blue buff. Rock Belt is getting a nerf, okay. Immortal Path, so the Omniman boots are getting nerf on mid, which is mostly like a Riven mid nerf, and you know, basically like AD champions like Nafiri and stuff like that. These are champions that abuse these boots way better than mages, so this is mostly like that type of nerf, right? And then Jack of Shades. This is a very interesting rune nerf. So Jack of Shades outperforms Cosmic Insight on every single champion. Jack of Shades got indirectly buffed a lot recently because of introduction of Doran's Helm, which obviously people have started abusing on champs like Senna. And yeah, Jack of Shades. This is also gonna be like a Syndra nerf, and I guess Syndra goes comet these days. Yeah, basically like first Jack users usually play Jack of Shades. Yeah, that's gonna be a nerf. Fair enough. Probably should give a little bit less stats when it's fully stacked or something like that. Yeah, Volibear, Riven nerf, stuff like that. I guess Riot is indirectly nerfing Riven a little bit this patch via some system changes. Riven's obviously the highest winner mid in the game. Nasus is one of the highest winner junglers in the game. Seraphine is one of the highest winner ADCs in the game. Yeah. I mean, I think the patch is like fine. They're buffing and nerfing like decent stuff, but like it's just a little, man. We need more changes.